Hello, we are the OmniByte team. I'm Nick.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Evan, and Ethan is stuck in a snowbank.
Yeah, and our mentors are Brian, Billy, and Jordan. So a little bit about OmniByte. They're located here in Fargo, and they're actually just located north of campus here in the NDSU Technology Incubator. They were founded in 2015, and one of their main products, Form Pros, is what our group is making software for. And Forms Pro is a easy way to make forms for field service techs.
Yeah.
Right now, Forms Pro does not have any sort of OCR capabilities, so when someone has to put information into the form, they have to type it in manually. And our goal is to add OCR, which is optical character recognition software, to the app, so that the customer can more effectively put text into the form without having to manually type in each letter on its own, just scan the document like a piece of paper, or eventually a gauge or a dial, and have that put into the form automatically.
Okay, so for our solution that we came up with, we're going to build a mobile app. It's going to be a sample mobile app separate from the Forms Pro, just to sort of demonstrate the capabilities of this, and then in the future combine it with their Forms Pro app. So we have to, we created a iOS and Android, sorry about that. We plan on creating an iOS and Android app so they could fit that capability into Forms Pro. We also have to research and understand the SDKs that are available for different OCRs, and we had a few difficulties with a couple of the OCRs, and eventually got one to work.
So far for our schedule, for our Sprint 1, we basically just went through and learned kind of the technologies that we'd be using. So went through official Ionic tutorials and went through some various Tesseract tutorials, and it wasn't really fun. And we started a demo app that can take and save pictures. Then for Sprint 2, we researched more OCR software that's available, and we ran through some more tutorials, and we tried some Google Cloud Vision, but we ended up deciding on OCR Space for now.
Right now, our app is capable of taking pictures using the device's camera, both on Android and iOS. And then it saves that to the device. Then you can select that image through the app, crop it however you like, and then it goes into the app, and you press a button that says Recognize Image, and then it will scan the text that is in there and display in just plain unformatted text what the schedule says. Right now it's just working with printed text, handwritten. If it scans it, it doesn't scan it well. And the front end of it is very just Ionic tutorial, generic template, and that's something we'll be working on next. So yeah, right now we've just got scanning printed text and a very bare bones front end, but it works.
You could show that right now.
Is this when the demo happens?
Yeah.
Okay. So this works.
Okay, and then while they set up, the OCR functionality is only, it's online based right now, so it has to include an internet connection. We are working on getting it offline, so it'll be either offline or online for the app functionality to work.
All right. As you can tell, it's just kind of the generic Ionic look. And our bit is over here. So when you want to get an image, you can either take one from your library or take a picture. So we can take, say, the schedule here. Crop it down. So I don't know, let's just take about the first half. And then, using OCR space, which is our current solution, it requires that the image be sent off to a service, a free service. And so once I press this button, it sends that off, does an HTTP request and whatnot, and gives back just plain text. Right now, unformatted. Hopefully you can read that out.
But it seems to be pretty accurate.
And it also works on iOS, however you want to call it. That's a full scan of the schedule, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got the text, and the next steps are sorting through it and probably letting the user edit it as they want, and then getting it into a form.
Yeah, formatting it into forms
Mm-hmm.
based on the text and their input. Yeah, so a few of our issues that that is in place right now is, as you can tell, the front end is just based off the Ionic tutorial. And as Evan was describing previously, it does not do very well on handwritten text. And then it is restrictive since it only works with printed text and for the free version, actually. And as I was describing before they did the demo, it only works with the internet connection, so we are trying to use a different OCR SDK to go ahead and get that offline functionality. And seeing as this will be for also taking photos of gauges for service techs out in the field, we'll need the optical graphic recognition capabilities, and that one is still a work in progress. And we're still working on the offline OCR, working on one right now here.
Going through like the offline stuff, it took forever just to try to get anything to work, and then eventually we had to settle on OCR space.
Yeah, so before when we were testing this out, I got it on my phone here. You press recognize, takes like 30 minutes. There's nothing.
Yeah, pretty much all of us are working on trying to get Tesseract to work offline, but it would just be spinning, loading image sort of thing. No console log, no error log, anything, no clues.
I rewrote the app 5 times and couldn't figure anything out from the ground up.
Settled on the online solution for now until we can figure out an offline one that'll do what we need it to do and actually work.
Okay.
So these are our user stories. So when we were kind of deciding on points, we kind of said one story point would like roughly equate to 1 hour of work. So far out of these user stories, we've completed the first 2. We're in progress of working on written text and all the other ones.
Printed text turned out to be quite a lot more than 5 story points.
Yeah.
In actuality.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to take it?
I haven't.
You could take them.
Do you know what the start button is? Who wrote that?
That was kind of Ethan's.
Yeah.
Oh, Ethan's
The guy who's going to
okay.
do the slide, who's the main lead of the programming, is stuck in snow in his Kia Sorento right now.
Okay.
2008 Kia Sorento, very, very suave, very fancy.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
So this,
app,
during just a few days ago, we had found an app that does quite a lot of the similar things of what we want to do. Like it's called Smart Lens, and it uses OCR, and it will select to like put outlines around the different bits of text that it recognizes. It'll let you choose which ones you want and link that to a bit on the form. But I don't believe it's open source, and I don't think it can be licensed. Like it'd be really nice if somebody already did all the work for us. We just have to pay them money, but that's not the case. So we are going to be looking at that more, seeing how they do things. Maybe take some pointers from them, especially where you can select the text bit that you want, edit that, and then put that into the form.
And then Yeah, so when we were doing the research of OCR SDKs and regarding Tesseract and Cloud Vision, I think we spent a collective, like, well, almost 100 man-hours trying to...
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of a ridiculous amount.
100 man-hours trying to get this to even recognize text. But then we did more research, found out a few other OCRs that are a little bit simpler to implement.
In retrospect, we wish we wouldn't have stuck on Tesseract and Cloud Vision so much, trying so much to get those ones working, and instead looked at other options.
Yeah, I was up till like 4 a.m. a few nights trying to get Tesseract to work. It did not work.
I didn't know so much time you even spent. And so yeah, for our next 2 sprints, we're going to be focusing on getting handwritten text to work, finding out a solution to clean up the output, whether that be like just regular expression, something horrid and terrible to work with like that, or letting the user edit the output themselves and then positioning it as they will. And then looking for better solutions with OCR space, trying to get Tesseract to work if we can.
Or
You're
offline
looking at,
functionality. I'm looking at
OCR-AD.
yeah, OCRAD or OCR-AD.
Hopefully we'll find an offline solution if that's something that we want to do. And then we need to get the front end to stop looking like it's baby's first Ionic app. And then getting the text that we've scanned in and putting that into an actual form, probably just a mock-up form for now. If we get lucky, we may actually get into Forms Pro later.
Yeah.
And then for Sprint 4, if we even get to that, that's more like our stretch goals, to be quite honest. Scanning the gauges and dials, which seems like it's going to be a whole
It's a whole nother SDK regarding the optical graphic.
And then more refinement to getting the text out.
Okay, is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Gauges and dials that are getting scanned? I might have missed it, but what exactly?
Oh, so this is for service techs out in the field. Sometimes they deal with gauges or dials in their work. So we're going to use like an optical graphic recognition. So it can take all the, basically take that input and put it into a form base.
The idea is, like, say the clock there, it would be able to scan that those are numbers, and the numbers are positioned this particular way, and the hand is this long, and the other hand is this long, and what it's overlapping, and like the angle of it.
Yep.
Well, ideally, that's what it'd be like if we can find something that does that for us. But that would be the next step after getting all the text figured out.
Yes, sir.
So the SDK that you mentioned for offline capability, is that available for both Android and iOS?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it is because we use the Ionic, or we are using the Ionic platform. What's that?
Ionic framework.
Yeah, Ionic framework.
So it's just like, cross-platform, so iOS, Android, Microsoft Windows, everything.
Yeah, so if we get one thing working on the Ionic platform, it'll be able to work on the iOS, Android, and desktop versions.
presumably Windows Phone too, if anybody cares about that.
Yep. Okay, is there any other questions?
Quick one. So there's all these things that, like the offline version versus the gauges. Have you talked through all these things with your mentor to make sure, would they sooner see a first pass through to learn about how hard gauges are versus having you try to beat through doing the offline version?
Well, that's something we need to bring up with the offline and offline particularly, because we just figured out OCR space very recently.
Yep.
And we forgot to clarify earlier if they needed an offline version, because I'm guessing service techs don't always have an internet connection. But the gauges and the dials was more of a, if we get to it sort of idea. Then their focus on it is just pulling text from a document and putting it into a form. And then dials and gauges is if we get there and if we can figure it out in time. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess the general question was just make sure you run through priorities again.
Yeah. The priority is scanning text and getting it into a form.
Yeah, that's the main point of this project here. Yes.
I guess have you tried just using Tesseract or one of the other offline things, but building an app in some other language, just as a desktop thing, just to see if you can get it working in
Thinking about that.
Yeah.
any
I
environment to
I
see
found
if you can
the-
isolate the problem.
I found a pre-made Tesseract sample app that was done in native Android that worked. But that would be, I don't know if we even want to entertain the idea of native Android.
Vanilla Android.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, because all the times I was doing it, I was trying to put stuff out on a log, I didn't get anything done at
The
all.
issue might also be because Ionic just recently updated from 3 to 4. So all the tutorials are in 3, and what we want to do is make it in 4 because that's what Forms Pro is going to be moving to. So I don't know, it's just a matter of figuring out compatibilities, hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we keep thinking, and we keep trying to address that, and it just keeps not doing the thing we want it to do.
That is a good idea to try and see what.
Our next step
might
was
be
to
a
try with
problem, yeah.
Ionic 3, but then Ethan figured out OCR Space as a solution for now. But that will be our next step.
And I'm
Probably
still
put
working
it
on
up there,
that.
trying to get it on to Ionic 3 and see if it works that way, even though it's a bit deprecated now.
And we brought that up with the sponsor mentor.
All right,
Any others?
thank you.
Okay.